When people think of exercise, they picture treadmills, gyms, or sweat-drenched routines. But in Japan, some of the world's longest-living elders begin their day with something entirely different. No machines, no rush, just movement, quiet, deliberate, and full of awareness. There's Mrs. Tanaka, age 92, who still tends her garden every morning, bending deeply to pull a weed, rising slowly to feel her breath. Or Mr. Sato, 84, who performs a slow Jintai stretch, arms open, eyes closed, spine gently twisting to greet the day. These aren't workouts. They're small rituals of presence, reminders that the body, even after 50, still listens to how we treat it. And the truth? You don't need an hour at the gym. Just a few mindful movements, done with care, can awaken the same life force that has kept Japanese elders moving gracefully for generations. Welcome back to Senior Wellness Secrets. I'm John, and today we're joined by the legendary Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, a man whose life's work redefined aging in Japan. Doctor, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you, John. It's a joy to be here.
Doctor, people often ask, what do Japanese elders do every day that keeps them so strong and balanced, even in their 80s and 90s? Could you share what these movements really mean, beyond just physical exercise?
Yes, you see, the Japanese approach movement as a form of connection. The first movement is Ashi wo hiraku, gently opening the legs and rotating the ankles. It teaches stability, a reminder that balance begins from the ground. The second is te wo nobasu, stretching the hands toward the sky, expanding the lungs, inviting oxygen and gratitude. And the third, kubi-mawashi, slow neck rotations, loosening tension from the mind as much as from the muscles. Each takes less than a minute, yet each tells the body, I am still here, still moving, still alive. When practiced daily, these small gestures maintain blood flow, preserve joint health, and more importantly, remind us that longevity isn't just about years. It's about harmony between breath, body, and heart.
Doctor, you've said something profound, that longevity begins not with what we do once in a while, but with what we do every day. For someone over 50 who may feel their energy slowing or their body becoming less responsive, what does that really mean in practice?
John, I have met many people who begin exercising late in life with great enthusiasm. They buy new shoes, join a gym, push themselves for a week and then stop because their knees hurt or their motivation fades. But in Japan, we see health not as a race, but as a rhythm. The body, especially after 50, no longer wants sudden intensity. It wants consistency. The elders you see walking gracefully through their 80s and 90s didn't achieve that through heavy exercise. They built it through small mindful movements repeated every single day. It could be 5 minutes in the morning, opening the arms to breathe deeply, circling the wrists, stepping gently side to side. These are not workouts. They are conversations with the body, and like any relationship, it grows stronger with daily care. When we move mindfully, we awaken circulation, stimulate the muscles, and tell the brain, I am still engaged with life. Many Western people think longevity is about supplements or genetics, but the truth is much simpler. It is about not allowing the body to freeze. In Japan, even the oldest farmers bend down to the soil, sweep the porch, or walk to the temple each morning. These small acts are sacred because they keep the body in motion and the spirit humble. You see, when you make movement a part of your identity, not a task, the body begins to trust you again. The heart beats in rhythm with your breath, and energy begins to return naturally. Longevity is not earned through exhaustion. It is maintained through gentle persistence, a quiet promise to keep moving every single day, no matter how small the step.
Doctor, I love how you describe movement not as something we do, but something we feel. You once said, the Japanese move to connect, not to compete. Could you help us understand what that truly means? How movement becomes a form of connection, rather than just another exercise routine?
Yes, John, you see, in many parts of the world, people move to measure. How many steps, how many calories, how fast or how far. But in Japan, movement has always been tied to presence. It is less about what you achieve, and more about how deeply you inhabit each motion. When an elder opens their arms in the morning, they are not stretching to reach a goal. They are opening their heart to the day, to the air, to life itself. That is connection. In the tea ceremony, every gesture is slow and deliberate, not for beauty but for awareness. The same principle applies to the way Japanese elders move. They are aware of how their feet touch the ground, how their spine supports them, how their breath flows through the chest. Every motion reminds them they are alive and part of something larger. When you move this way, the body no longer feels like a machine to be fixed, but a companion to be listened to. The muscles soften, the breath deepens, the nervous system relaxes. Even your heartbeat starts to follow a calmer rhythm. Connection through movement also means reconnecting with others, walking to greet a neighbor, bowing gently in respect, sweeping a shared path. These are movements of community, not isolation. The tragedy of modern life is that we have replaced meaningful motion with mechanical repetition. But when we move with awareness, when each gesture carries purpose, the body heals, the mind quiets, and the spirit finds peace. True longevity, John, does not come from fighting the body, but from befriending it, learning to move with kindness, and remembering that every motion, no matter how small, is a conversation with life itself.
Doctor, earlier you mentioned 3 movements that Japanese elders practice for stability, breath, and relaxation. Could you share how these simple actions done daily form such a powerful foundation for longevity and balance, both physically and emotionally?
Of course, John. These 3 movements are small, but they carry the entire philosophy of aging well. The first, what we call ashi wo hiraku, gently opening the legs and rotating the ankles, may seem trivial, yet it grounds you. After 50, our sense of balance begins to fade quietly like a candle in a draught. The ankles stiffen, the legs weaken, and suddenly we begin to move cautiously. But when you open the legs and let the ankles circle slowly, you remind your body that it still has roots, that stability begins from the ground. It is not about strength. It is about awareness, feeling the earth supporting you. The second movement, te wo nobasu, raising the arms and stretching toward the sky, opens the lungs and the chest, allowing oxygen to flow freely. Many elders breathe shallowly without realizing it. This gentle extension brings space into the ribs and lightness into the spirit. It is like telling your body, there is still room to grow, still air to take in, breath after all. Is the bridge between body and mind. The third, kubi mawashi, the slow turning of the neck, releases the tension that accumulates from thinking, worrying, planning. The neck is the narrow bridge where the weight of the mind meets the body. When we loosen it, we ease not only stiffness but also the invisible burden of thoughts. Together, these 3 movements represent balance, openness, and calm, the 3 pillars of graceful aging. You could call them a physical prayer. They take less than 5 minutes, require no equipment, yet they realign posture, improve circulation, and bring the body back to harmony. When practiced daily, they whisper to the body, you are still strong, still capable, and that quiet reminder is what keeps the heart young and the spirit steady.
Doctor, I'm fascinated by how you speak about small rituals, these tiny daily actions that seem almost too simple, yet hold so much power. For many people over 50, it's hard to believe that a few minutes of gentle movement could truly make a difference. Could you explain why these small, consistent rituals matter so deeply for health and longevity?
Yes, John. This is one of the greatest misunderstandings in modern health. People believe that transformation comes only through effort, intensity, or time spent. But the truth is, the body listens to consistency more than it listens to effort. In Japan, you will often hear the phrase chisana kotokara, start from something small. Our elders live by it. They rise at the same hour, stretch the same way, walk the same path to the market, bow to the same neighbors. These actions may look ordinary, but inside them is rhythm. A quiet, living rhythm that keeps the mind and body in harmony. When a person moves, even for just a few minutes, blood begins to circulate, the joints awaken, and the brain releases small signals of renewal. Over time, this rhythm prevents decline, because the body never forgets how to move. The problem today is that many people wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect time, the right shoes, the gym membership. But health does not wait. It grows through presence. The elders in Okinawa or Kyoto don't exercise as a task. They weave movement into life itself. They hang laundry, sweep the floor, water the garden, and each of these acts is movement. When done with awareness, even a minute becomes medicine. The body loves repetition, It thrives on gentle reminders that it is still needed. These small rituals are the bridge between vitality and aging, because they preserve dignity, independence, and peace. You do not need to change everything, John. Just commit to something small every single day, and let that act remind you that you are still in conversation with your own life.
Doctor, you've often said that healthy aging isn't about control, but about harmony. That idea feels very different from what we're usually told: to push harder, to fight aging, to stay in control of our bodies. What does it really mean to age in harmony, rather than in resistance?
John, this is an important question. You see, the modern world teaches us to treat aging as a battle, a fight against time, wrinkles, and weakness. But in Japan, we see it differently. Aging is not an enemy. It is a teacher. When you fight it, the body becomes tense, fearful, resistant. But when you learn to move with it, like water flowing around a stone, you find peace. Harmony means listening, truly listening to what your body is asking for, not what your mind demands. After 50, the body begins to whisper more softly. It says, slow down, breathe deeper, rest a little longer. When we honor those whispers, we create balance instead of exhaustion. Many people lose health not because their bodies fail, but because they stop listening. They force the same routines they had at 30, ignoring that the body has changed. Harmony means adapting, walking a little slower, stretching with intention, letting go of perfection. Even food and rest become part of this rhythm. In Japanese philosophy, we call it wa, the balance of all things. It is found in how we move, how we eat, how we think. A harmonious body carries calm energy. Its heart rate slows, its breath deepens, its mind quiets. When I was young, I met an old man in Kyoto who said, "My secret to long life is that I never argue with my body." If his knees ached, he sat in the sun. If his back stiffened, he walked among the trees. He lived to 104. That, John, is harmony, not control, not denial, but partnership. Aging gracefully means accepting the flow of time and learning to move with it, gently, faithfully, without fear.
You know, listening to you, Doctor, I'm reminded that longevity isn't a race toward more years. It's a practice of presence in every moment we have. These small, deliberate movements, they're not just for the body. They're for the heart, the spirit, the quiet rhythm of life we often forget to honor. It's humbling, really, to realize that wellness doesn't come from doing more, but from doing less, with more care.
Yes, John. So many people chase youth, but they forget that true youth lives in awareness. When we move gently, we listen. When we breathe deeply, we return to ourselves. The body was never meant to be conquered. It was meant to be cared for. Every stretch, every mindful breath is a small act of gratitude to the life within us. After 50, this gratitude becomes medicine. It strengthens the bones, softens the mind, and teaches us that vitality is not the absence of age, but the presence of harmony. If you can, each morning, take one slow breath before you rise. Let your feet touch the floor and feel the earth supporting you. Stretch your arms to the sky and thank your body for carrying you this far. These moments, though small, shape the quality of your entire life. Longevity is not about living longer. It's about living gently, with awareness, with kindness, and with purpose. When the body moves in peace, the years move more softly too.
That's beautiful, Doctor. Truly. To everyone listening, take a moment today to move, to breathe, to simply be. If this conversation brought you peace or inspiration, we invite you to subscribe and join us for more stories of mindful living and timeless health. Until next time, stay kind to your body and let life move through you, one gentle breath at a time.